Hey everybody, this is Brad Salyers. I'm with Waterstone Realty Group and Keller Williams Realty Portland Premier. I'm also with Real Estate Connect, the Facebook Live group, and this is the Rec Room. Just wanted to let you know, guys, we have an amazing show lined up. In just a few minutes, we're going to be interviewing Joe Herrera and Taylor Prince of the Joe Taylor Group. These guys are Facebook marketing gurus and just all-around kick-ass real estate agents in Las Vegas. So please stay tuned. Check this out. Going to the Rec Room. Thanks for jumping back on here with me. I don't know what happened. I just lost Joe and Taylor. Let's see if we can get them back online here in a second. So today, if everything works out for us, we're going to have Joe and Taylor on the show, and they'll be broadcasting, sharing with you how they managed to, looks like they did over $1 million in Facebook lead closings, and that was in GCI. And no, that is not a typo. That's not a mistaken. I'm not mistaken about that. So let's see if we can get these guys back online. Also next week, we're going to have Ray Ellen. He's going to be joining us, and he's going to be sharing with us how he is killing it in the digital space. He owns a company called Pixel Properties. Let me check this little video out here.
We're not going to be real estate agents anymore. In the future, we're going to be media companies that specialize in real estate. That future is here.
All right, we're back. We're still trying to see if we can hang on and get Joe and Taylor on the program. If not, we'll have to see what's going on. How are you guys doing today? Got to work out these kinks, I guess. Here it says they're trying to get back on, so says they're unable to connect. Let me see what I can do here. There we go. Nice. Awesome. All right, well, guys, I do got Joe and Taylor here. This is Joe and Taylor, and like I say, these guys closed over $1 million in Facebook leads. That's GCI from 2016. Last year, they sold over 200 transactions from less than $30,000 ads. I see them and hear them. We got Joe and Taylor. Welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be here.
Yeah, sorry about that little kink there. I'm glad we were able to jump you guys back on. So this is Taylor on the top of the screen and Joe on the bottom, and myself. So thanks for joining us, guys. Taylor's got to cut out a little bit early, but I do have some great questions here I wanted to ask you. I really appreciate you guys coming on here and sharing this with the Portland real estate market. And by the way, just for you guys here in Portland, these guys are in Las Vegas, and I'll show you a little bit of their website and some Facebook ads and stuff that they're doing. But I'm sure they would love your referral business if you guys know anybody that's moving to Vegas, and I know that people move back and forth from here to there all the time, so keep them in mind. And we could probably share in the comments down below with you guys their email addresses and phone numbers to get in touch, if that's all right with you guys.
Yeah, for sure. We'd love it.
Awesome. Well, tell me a little bit, guys. You guys have your own brokerage. You guys are a partnership. How do you guys work in business?
Well, I'll talk for a second since I have to leave. Joe started real estate around 2000. I got in 2004, end of 2004, met Joe, came on actually as one of his two buyer's agents. And about 6 months after that, we formed the Joe Taylor Group, which has become the #1 digital marketing real estate team here in Las Vegas. We have a Facebook page. Joe will be talking more about that. But we started in 2010. We opened up a brokerage with a third partner called Simply Vegas. We sold our ownership off to the third partner a few years later. But that company was built up to, I think we're 350, 400 agents. In 2016, Joe and I left Simply Vegas. We opened Love Local Real Estate, which is the company we're with now. So we're the owners of Love Local, the brokerage. We're also the owners, the founders of the Joe Taylor Group. So that's, in a nutshell, that's kind of our real estate history and where we're at, where we've come from.
Nice. And I met you guys at Curator Excellence, and you guys were on the stage up there and sharing about your business, and you were gracious enough to hang out with me a little bit and share a little bit about your business and how you guys do that. Tell me a little bit about your team. How many agents do you guys have on, and how many staff, and who do you guys have on staff?
So we have currently 15 agents total. Probably 7 buyer's agents are fully functioning. And then Taylor and I makes 9. We've got 2 or 3 kind of stay-at-home mom, part-time realtors. And then we currently have, it's tough because we blend it between our brokerage and our team, but I would say 4 administrative staff. So 2 that are ISA/front desk, and then 1 operations manager and 1 transaction coordinator.
Okay, awesome. That's a pretty big team. So do you guys have your teams set up to where just you guys are the listing agents, or you have listing agents separate from the buyer's agents then, it sounded like?
Well, when we originally started, we took all the listings. But as it grew, I think as a retention tool, we had to, at least in the Vegas market, allow for our agents to take listings as well. Or else, they would just go off and do their own thing. So it's kind of like we had to allow them to practice the entire business,
right?
At least here in Vegas, out of fear of, they would just, if we didn't let them do it, they go do it somewhere else.
Yeah, you have to make adjustments.
Yeah, and it is a little bit of a controlled listing agent program. So our agents, when they start with us, they come on as junior agents. Once they've closed 10 transactions with the Joe Taylor Group, they move to what we call a senior agent, at which point they can take listings. Before that, they have to refer the listings off to another senior agent or to Joe or myself. So there's a little bit of a vetting process there. We don't just let anybody take listings. They do have to meet certain requirements and show that they can do it.
Right on. That's excellent. So so you got how many buyer's agents? You said 7? Or 7, roughly?
Yeah, I mean, there's, I think, 10 agents total besides Taylor and I and our administrative staff. But 7 of them can do buyers or sellers. We call them buyer's agents, but they're able to do sellers as well. And then the other 3 probably haven't reached that point yet.
Okay. So what are the lead sources? I know, Taylor, you mentioned when we were chatting that one of the things you guys could share with us is the lead sources. What kind of lead sources are you guys using to generate leads?
Sure. So number one, which every successful real estate brand in the country is using, is our own sphere, our past clients, our friends, our family. We cast a pretty heavy web when it comes to the branding that we do. So the whole town, for the most part, has heard of the Joe Taylor Group. That, included with just the people we know, has created a pretty good sphere of influence where we're able to draw from, and that's still probably 60% of the business we do comes from our own sphere. So the stuff that we do market, that we bring in just massive amounts of leads, is Facebook. We do Realtor.com, of course, our sign calls, our listings. We do some mailers, and we recently, which is kind of a kind of a shocker if you know Joe and I in our history. Recently, we went in really heavy with Zillow. They flew us up to Seattle. We went to Zillow headquarters. We met with a lot of the people up there. They sold us. They gave us the pitch, and we had always been pretty adamantly opposed and outspoken about why we wouldn't use Zillow. But we made a decision based on speaking with some of the people we trust that are using Zillow, also looking at the way they're doing it, the way things are moving, the presence Zillow has in the market. So we have just recently, I mean, literally within the last 2 weeks, launched a pretty, $10,000 a month campaign with Zillow.
Wow. That's a lot. That's awesome. Just from 0 to 10K, just like that.
Yeah. And so far they've provided, and I think we've got like 4 deals that should be going into escrow here in the next week based on that initial, and it's a ramp up. So the commitment was a high number. We don't start off giving them $10,000 on month 1, but that was the commitment.
Okay. That's cool. Just want to shout out to anybody watching here that if we will be taking some questions for Joe later. So if you guys have any questions, please make sure to throw them in the comments here. So that's a lot of different lead sources. What lead sources besides your sphere that you mentioned are killing it the most for you?
I'm gonna let Joe can take. I've actually got to step out, so Joe can take those bombs and run with them. But,
well, thanks a lot, Taylor. Appreciate it, man.
I look forward to doing this again too.
Okay, we look forward to it too. Thanks, Taylor.
All right, I'll see you later.
Take care, man.
Okay.
Yeah. So. The number one return on investment we have is through our sphere of influence. Our sphere of influence, our buyer's agent sphere of influence, like just working people we already know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's tough to say that because we've been so heavy on Facebook for all these years that it's the lines of delineation between sphere of influence and marketing aren't super clear, because the reason our sphere of influence performs at the rate it does is because people see us everywhere. And so it's kind of hard to say, this was a sphere of influence, a buddy of ours that called us, would they have called us if they didn't see us everywhere on Facebook? And so it's kind of it's hard to draw that line. So our number one source is sphere of influence. Number 2 is probably our Facebook marketing and lead generation. We generate anywhere in between 1,000 and 3,000 leads a month, depending on how many we need to generate. It's the dial we can easily turn up. So far today, we generated like 70 leads, and we could take it to 200 if we want, or we can stop it. Our leads, we end up getting raw leads, meaning name and email address at least, we'll get for under $1 a piece. Name, email address, phone number, we'll get for probably $3 to $4 a piece. And then accurate name, email address, and phone number, if you take those $3 or $4 leads and determine the ones that are accurate, are probably more like $6 to $7 a lead.
Yeah.
So that's our number 2. Number 3 currently is probably Realtor.com. We've been a couple $1,000 a month spend with Realtor.com, and then number 4, would be a Zillow, mailers or whatever. But it's primarily sphere of influence and Facebook.
Okay. Wow. That's a huge amount of Facebook leads that you guys are pulling in every day.
Yeah, I mean, it's its own problem. It's for us, we're now year 4. I'm trying to think when we started. Maybe year 3. I would say solidly year 3 of hyper Facebook lead generation. And as it's gone on, it's tougher now to. Like, we deal with a lot of lead fatigue with our agents. So our agents that have been with us for 2+ years have dealt with 5,000 leads over those couple of years. And so it's like we're revamping our lead filtration system, where they go, how they're nurtured. We recently brought in 2 in-house ISAs to handle the leads.
Yeah, how many? You said 2? You said 2 assistant ISAs?
Yeah, but it's really 1 full-time, because what it is they take 2-hour shifts. We've had such a hard time keeping ISAs. I think in Vegas, and it may be, I like to claim it's a unique Vegas problem, and it may be everywhere, but we lose a lot of talent to the Strip. People can go valet park cars, they can deal blackjack, they can strip. It's like people can do so much here in Vegas to make a good amount of money that it's hard for us to keep good talent, because cabana boys down on the strip are making $60,000, $70,000 a year. So to get them to come in and get on the phone all day is a little bit tougher. So we lose a lot of talent to that. So the ISA situation has been hard for us. So what we're currently doing is we have a front desk here because we own the brokerage. And so one person will be at the front desk, one will make calls for 2 hours, and then they flip. So every 2 hours they rotate. So they each spend about 4 hours a day on the phone, but it's in 2 2-hour shifts.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, I was curious about that because when I was asking you guys about what we could talk about, one of the things you did bring up was that lead fatigue issue. So your solution to that, you think, is just going to be getting the ISA, having the ISA handle those? Is your goal then? Would your goal then be to well, I mean, previous to the ISAs, Joe, were you just like round robining the leads that as they come in to your agents?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, honesty is the hardest part of all this. So Taylor and I are business partners. How do we be honest with ourselves and our own talents and strengths? And then how do we allow our agents to be honest with us, and how do we prognosticate for them what we already know? And by that I mean, like, if we look at the situation, we can realize that the skills that are required to take raw leads and convert them may not be the same skills required to take warm leads and put them in contract. And it's certainly not the same skills required to take a contract and get it to close.
Right.
So the more compartmentalized our business gets, the more successful it is. But at the same time, the more hands you bring into the process, the more transactions you have to do to make the same amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like Taylor and I, will, in one way or another, either from the Joe Taylor Group or splits with agents at our brokerage, this year our goal is to do 500 transactions. At that point, we will probably make the same as if Taylor and I did 100 transactions between the two of us. Because once you get transaction coordinators and ISAs and buyer's agents and seller's agents and all this intermingled,
right,
the money gets chopped up really, really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the challenge for us, is how can we be honest with ourselves, honest with our agents be honest with us? How do we remove from them, it costs us money to bring in an ISA versus having an agent do it. So then the issue is, by doing it, can we take an agent from 2 deals a month to 3 deals a month? At that point, we remake and then some the money we spent to get the ISA. But if we don't, and everybody stays doing 2 deals a month, then we've just lost $5,000 a month on an ISA. And so those are all the things that I didn't think about when I got my real estate license and went knocking doors and picked up a couple of listings. I didn't necessarily say 16 years from now, Taylor and I will have a brokerage with 80 agents and we'll do 500 transactions in a given year. And, you never can accurately prognosticate the challenges that'll come with success. And successful challenges, to some degree, are harder than failure challenges. Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, with the lead sources that we bring in too, I struggle with that. Sometimes if I just round robin those to the agents, are they going to do everything in the follow up and everything they can to try to convert those leads? Because the fortune is in the follow-up, as they say. And so, just the one and done phone call or text and email and just, hope for the other hotter leads that come in just doesn't really, it's a successful waste of a whole bunch of other leads. And so I always wonder, will ISA help manage that situation where they're doing a lot of the follow-up and setting appointments? So I go back and forth.
Well, it ultimately boils down to lead source as well, and quality, like conversion ratio quality.
Right.
These are all the things that I obsess about. So my job is lead generation, and Taylor's job to some degree is lead management and conversion. But for me, it's like if we gave each of our agents 20 leads a month that converted at a 10% clip, they could handle that. Our Facebook leads convert less than 1%. There's 2 reasons behind it. Number one is the leads aren't always super ready. If you look at the timeline of a lead, let me get in frame here. If you look at the timeline of a lead and you say this is curiosity and this is closing, Facebook is just after Curiosity, and Realtor.com is just before closing, or Zillow. And so it's like we can get the leads for a 20th the cost. Not necessarily. Call it 5% the cost from, which is a 20th, right? Or whatever. We can get the leads for 5% the cost of a Realtor.com or Zillow lead, but they convert at less than 1%, where a Zillow conversion ratio is hopefully 5%. So then it takes 20 Zillow leads to convert one, where it takes 100 Facebook leads to convert one.
Right.
The cost to get 20 Zillow leads is $2,000. The cost to generate 100 Facebook leads is like $300. So when you boil it all down, it's still cheaper to convert a Facebook lead than a Realtor.com or Zillow lead.
Right.
If you don't factor in fatigue. Because the fatigue is the other statistic, or the other challenge to conversion, is like 1% conversion is if each lead gets worked well.
Mm-hmm.
But when you factor in fatigue, if an agent gets 10 leads a day for 6 months, it's hard for them to decipher between the real and the not real.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's where I was kind of hoping an ISA would come into play and help out, because some other companies I've heard, you've probably heard this as well, where they will do the agents on their team, they try to limit them to just 100 leads and say, once you hit that
road.
Yeah, have you guys tried that?
Yep.
But you have just way too many leads for that.
Yeah, and the problem is with Facebook leads, you have to generate more leads than that.
Yeah.
Like if you've got 3 buyers agents and they each have 100 leads, okay, well, cool. What, are you going to stop advertising? And if you keep generating and make them kick out the old ones and put in the new ones, that process is so involved that mixing that in with showing and hopefully closing transactions, it just becomes a massive problem. So our theory right now is to take that off of their plate, have the leads go directly to our ISAs, have the ISAs work them until they're ready to get pre-qualified, and then at that point, so have our buyer's agents work with 50 or 100 pre-qualified people, and they don't even talk to them until then. That's our theory. And we're hoping that by doing that, it'll improve retention and everything else.
Yeah, for a team that's bringing in smaller amounts of leads like ours compared to what you're doing, that's. I find that our agents, for example, they kind of like the round robin status when they get them brand new, just because it feels like they're getting something. Even if they call the person and then the person's not ready anytime soon or anything like that. They if I turn that off to where it was just an ISA handing them warm leads that are ready. I feel like, sometimes there might be a loss in the handoff, or
they might twiddle their thumbs a little bit.
Yeah.
The other thing is the longevity of the buyer's agent. So you're right, in the first 3 months to 6 months, maybe your agents have been with you for years. Our experience is after a year or 2 years, they just start to go, just give me warm leads. So it's like initially, and we really find that to be somewhere in between month 4 and 6, where after working raw leads for about 4 months, the ones that actually try get a little burnt out by month 4 or 5, to where they go, it was cool getting leads every day, but what I'd really rather have is 1 or 2 pre-qualified leads a week that I can go show houses to. I don't know. So
yeah, that's good. So what do you guys do to train your agents on lead conversion? Do you guys have scripts? You guys do any script practice?
Yeah,
you guys have training videos? What do you guys do?
Well, we have a mentorship program where our older agents mentor our new agents. To be honest, our growth process recently has looked more on the brokerage side. So what we started to see was that our agents on the Joe Taylor group, which is hard to manage the personalities. We take people on trips. We just got back from the Caribbean. We stopped growing the Joe Taylor group and just started growing an independent branch of our brokerage where we do lead generation for solo agents. So that's been our new endeavor over the last 6 months, is bringing on agents that did anywhere from 5 to 15 transactions last year, and say, listen, do your 5 to 15 transactions, but let us add 50 leads a month on top of that. So that's kind of been our we give them some videos and some scripts and things like that to work off of. But inside the Joe Taylor group, we usually have a mentorship program where a new agent will be partnered up with an older agent, and that older agent will mentor them. And Taylor will spend some time going over scripting with them. Obviously, we train them on how to use our CRM. But a lot of it is I'm very resistant to theoretical training. If we're going to train somebody, I want it to be situational.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to tell you all the objections you could hear. Come to me once you've heard one, and I'll teach you how to handle it.
Oh, you like that method better?
I do. It's because it's how I learn. Like, if somebody says to me, like, oh, I'd love to buy a house, but we're in a lease, and I can't, we're in a lease until August, so we've got 6 more months. If an agent comes to me and says, how can I handle this? And I could tell them, well, we have a lease break program where if they buy a house with us, we pay for them to break their lease. Well, how does that work? And then I explain it to them, and then all of a sudden they call them back armed. And the next time somebody says, I'd love to buy, but I'm in a lease, they have life experience. Where if I sit them down in a class and say, here's 20 rejections you'll face, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 15 is lease breaking, they're never going to remember that when the situation comes up. So I just say, if you run into a situation you don't understand, say to them, you know what, that's a great question. Let me talk to Joe. I'm going to give you a call right back. Come and ask me, and then call them right back.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I like that. That's how I learned too, was just kind of winging it in the beginning, going, objection by objection and trying to come up with a solution or look it up on the internet or something.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, that's cool. But I mean, do you feel like your agents have, pretty decent conversion rates otherwise, with the exception of the lead fatigue then from bringing in too many?
Just depends.
It's probably at least the average or below or better, depending on the lead, obviously, the lead source.
Yeah, it depends on the lead source and the agent. Some of our agents converted a really high clip. Some of them converted a really low clip. So we kind of have our agents divided into the producers and non-producers. Like, our producers will do 25 to 40 transactions a year each. Our non-producers will do 5 to 10 transactions. And so, like, the conversion rate of our producers is strong. Like so far today, we're running ads on Facebook today, but we also, because we use Facebook Messenger so much, have generated, I think, 4 Messenger leads, which are conversion rate is 10 times what a traditional Facebook lead is. When I give those to my agents, they converted a really high clip. Okay. But those only go to our good agents.
Right.
So it's hard to say their conversion rate versus their conversion rate, because the great agents get softballs, and the agents who don't convert super well or don't have a track record of hard work and conversion get 100-mile-per-hour fastballs. So.
Okay. Well, let me, if you don't mind here, I'd like to, I got your Facebook page here. I'd like to just pull that up on the screen. If you don't mind just sharing with us, talking us through this a little bit. Can you see that, Joe?
Uh-huh.
So this is the Joe Taylor Group page, Facebook page. As you see when you open it up, it's got this beautiful drone video playing back here, and their logo printed over top of it. It's a great looking logo. So scrolling down here, I see you got the send message button prominently displayed, and you got a lot of great reviews here. And another thing I noticed is that there is you got 16,000 followers. That is an enormous amount of followers for a Facebook page. So that's awesome. So you scroll down here a little bit more, and I see your post. This one says 23 hours ago, and it's got this just listed, great price. Get price and location by clicking this link. A little bit about the features of the home. It's got some more photos here. If you click on it, open it up. Looks like it had about 9 shares, 35 comments, and a lot of people, I know when I do this something similar. When I do this, people are always asking about the price. But man, you guys have a huge following on here. Now, is this ad like a boosted ad then? Did you pay to boost this?
Yeah, that's boosted, but I didn't boost it that much. It didn't really work. If you scroll down the one below it, I think probably performed a little bit better. Our average boosted post, will reach around 50,000 people. Like that one, I think did pretty good. I think we spent $70 on that. I can't really see how many likes we got. It's a little fuzzy on my end, but
says you have 100. It says there was 158 likes, 6 shares, and 25 comments.
Yeah, that one did okay. I think we spent $60 on that and generated like 60 leads from it.
$60.
Yeah, that one did pretty good. Scroll down to the one after that. A lot of it's house dependent. It's what we say. You can keep going down. Yes. So yes, that one didn't do very well. So both of those were posted in the same day. Let's see. Keep going down. Yeah, I think that one did okay. What did that one have likes wise?
40 shares, 518 likes.
Yeah, so that one I think we spent $70 on. Let me just pull up the analytics on my phone really quick.
Cool.
Yeah, so this one we spent $112 on. We reached 26,000 people. Our costs per engagement were a penny, which is super cheap. Yeah, and our cost per 1,000 reach was about $5. So yeah, this one killed it. I'm trying to think why we aren't still running that. It may have sold. Yeah, this one just did really, really well for us.
Well, it looks like a fantastic house. So then they'll click on the link, and then this pops up. This is how you essentially generate the lead, correct? If you can see. So once they click the link,
people will click on there, give it their information.
That's where they'll register to get more pictures and the price.
Yep, exactly.
Nice. Is there anything special that you could tell us about the Facebook marketing in terms of audiences and what you guys are doing for the back end of the ads manager to get these in front of so many people for a penny a piece?
So I don't break up my audience too much. I don't go in and say just show me doctors and Orthodox Jews and Catholics who want to be near a cathedral. We don't do any of that. I literally just say anybody in Vegas from age 20 to 65 plus. I don't exclude realtors. I let people decide for themselves if my ad is applicable versus trying to decide for them if it's applicable. So as far as audience building, I mean, if I was in Portland, I would just draw a circle around the city of Portland and any of the surrounding areas I wanted to work and advertise it to everybody 20 to 65 plus and let people filter themselves out. That's kind of my advice on that.
Nice. So anything else that you would want to share about your experience just Facebook lead generating or say internet lead generating that people that might be helpful to agents out there that are thinking about getting into it, helping to get ahead of the game?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say don't fish with your dinner. And by that I mean what you want to eat versus what a buyer wants to consume are two different things. Most real estate agents write ads the way they want them. They think it looks cool. The guy sitting next to them thinks it looks cool. And so they basically start fishing with their own food. And the reality is if you're trying to catch homeowners to sell or potential home buyers, you need to bait them with the type of things that they're going to respond to. And so all of our ads are built in a way that they're the types of homes that our home buyers like. The ads are crafted in a way that gets them to respond. It just doesn't make any sense if you're going to go through all the trouble to go crab fishing to try to feed them, sub sandwiches and stuff. You got to feed crabs what crabs want to eat. And so when you're running ads on Facebook, you just got to keep in mind what you think of the ad is irrelevant. The ad is an independent, like gravity. It's independently true in and of itself, and it will either perform or not perform. And trying to figure out why it does or why it doesn't, to me, has never made much sense. I just try another one and try another one and try another one, and then if I get a winner, I try to replicate the winner over and over and over again.
Nice. That's great advice. Yeah. I notice here, like, looks like, if I'm scrolling down your Facebook page, I also see some videos and stuff. Are you guys getting into doing videos or video tours for your listings or market reports, or what kind of things are you doing, Joe?
Yeah, we're behind the ball on that. I'll go Facebook Live a lot. The problem is, for us, we're always running an ad, and so if I'm gonna, even though we have 16,000 followers, organic reach is dead on Facebook. You're not going to reach anybody you don't pay for.
Yes.
So if we're spending money to run an ad to generate leads, it's tough for me to flip it and then spend money to run a video ad that chums the water. So I am very big fan of Chris Smith's idea of going out in front of communities and just popping up a camera and saying, hey guys, I'm out in front of, the Summerlin Estates, and I wanted to share with you some statistics on what's happening here. I think that's a great idea. I did it at one new home community and got good response. But I'm just not as there you go. I'm just not as creative as I should be with it. But that was a good example of, like, I literally walked in, grabbed the new home brochures, walked out, set my phone up on top of my car, turned the camera on, and just started talking. We got like 25, 22 likes on it and 2,000 views or something like that. If I stuck to that enough, it would work. So it's just disciplining myself to go and do it is the tough part.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. Are you guys gonna try to get into the video space a little bit more? You said you feel like you're behind the ball on that one.
I can see us getting into the self-generated organic video space. We've messed around. We've even hired videographers like on retainer, and they just always end up flaking out on us. And so I think you'll see us do a lot of Facebook Live. But as far as produce, we really don't do anything with Matterport. It's all gimmicky to me. Like, not that it doesn't work, and I'm sure there's a million people that'll say, like, oh, it's the bread and butter of my business, which is cool. It's just not the bread and butter of our business. So any of the videos we do, I think you'll see more of the organic Donald Trump presidential campaign style, just turn a camera on and start talking. It seems to resonate with people. The realness of it seems to resonate with people.
Yeah.
More than, because the thing that I've always liked about Facebook Live videos, assuming you're not holding the camera yourself and creating some nasty, shaky video, it's just the rawness of it, and it's easy to consume. A fully produced, high-quality video looks cool, but it's almost unattainable. And if anything, for me in real estate, I want to be ultra attainable, like ultra relatable. And I think the Facebook Live, turn on your camera and start talking, does that, where the production quality of some of the others, and that's just my opinion, tend to look a little bit unattainable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great, man. So, got a couple more questions here, and we'll let you get out of here. What's next for you guys? Are you guys trying to grow, expand more into your?
I mean, it's hard to say because 2 years ago we didn't plan on opening another brokerage after we sold our last one. If the brokerage model proves itself out here in Vegas, I could see us expanding to other marketplaces with Love Local Real Estate.
Okay.
So I think that's a next for us. We really just need to get our transaction numbers up. I want to be a part of 500 transactions, whether that's 50-50 split, a 70-30 split, whatever more than transaction fees. I want to be able to provide a value to agents to where we get, like right now, the independent agents at our company pay us 30% to do all their lead gen.
Mm-hmm.
So if that model proves out, I'd love to take it to Southern California and Salt Lake City and wherever else that makes sense for us to go in because we're so good at lead gen, and do that. So I think you could see Love Local. It's just tough to be a unique real estate company these days. There's just so many. Realty One groups started here in Vegas, and you just a unique business model for our brokerage that we could take to other marketplaces, and it may be lead gen. We'll just have to prove it out.
Okay. Well, that's killer. What any books that you guys have read lately that you guys have impacted you, or you guys ask your team to read, or do you guys do anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, most of the books I read either end up being religious books or like, I just finished Endurance, the story of Ernest Shackleton and his attempt to conquer the South Arctic cap. What was the negotiating book I read a little while ago that was great? He spoke at excellence. I'm trying to remember his name. Anyways, now, I mean, Taylor's more of a reader than I am. I dabble in the conversion code or the millionaire real estate agent, things like that. But most of the books I read, I tend to do better when I stay in my own lane and come up with my own unique ideas rather than to learn from others, which is, not the smartest way to do it. But yeah, I mean, Steve Jobs biography, Phil Knight, Shoe Dog was great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Those are the type of books that I end up reading, and so they're not real estate specific. I tend to call BS on most real estate specific books. And it's not that things don't work. It's just, when I listen to them, my mind just goes, yeah, that's bull crap, and so I have a hard time listening to books in my own space because they're largely, a lot of times, written by non-practitioners. And so it's like, you know what I mean? Like if you've never farmed apples, don't farm apples. And so I tend to learn best from books that aren't inside my space, but just are inside general business growth, salesmanship, things like that aren't tied specifically to real estate.
Yeah.
Taylor's the reader.
Is he?
I'm a part of a book club, so I read one book a month. But that's
nice. Well, cool. Anything else? I mean, what everybody always asks this question, but I do always like it. What if you were just starting out in real estate and you could go back and talk to yourself again, what would you do to try to get the ball rolling faster and get more transactions?
Well, I think Gary V's, spot on as far as the necessity to make yourself a media company. So you need to be getting your message out there. And if you're not on social, you're going to be dead in 10 years. I mean, I would say bad social is better than no social, but then just learn how to do social. So you've got to learn how to tell your company's story and whatever your team is good at, whatever your company is good at, whatever you're good at, be that. The one thing that I'm going to be doing a video, we've got a little coaching page that I've neglected for like 8 months, but I'm going to do a video as soon as we get off of this. It's just about staying in your own lane and avoiding social envy with competitors.
Nice.
So it's so funny to me because people will, like being a part of the curator community, we interact with a lot of massive agents, and everybody will be jealous of these massive agents. And then I'll talk to the agent one-on-one, and they'll be crying and like, this person left and my business is falling apart. But on the outside, there's thousands of people. It is for teenagers to deal with Snapchat and Instagram and being left out and everybody's cool and I'm not. I think we struggle with it as real estate entrepreneurs as well, because we look at people who seem like, people may look at our Facebook page and say, wow, you have 16,000 followers and you get all these likes and comments and shares, but we have serious growth pains and serious failures and serious, hard decisions to make when it comes to ad budget and spending, and we go through droughts and we have struggles that people think we probably don't because of our massive footprint. So I guess my last piece of advice to myself starting out is just to be myself, stay in my lane, learn from others where I can, but don't allow myself to be intimidated by people who've had great success. I love Steve Jobs said something to the effect of all of the essential technologies that you see in your life were created by people no smarter than you.
Yeah.
So the reality is the agents that are killing and mashing aren't any better or smarter than anybody else.
Right.
They just keep going. And so I think the hurdle.
Oh yeah, I've watched that Millionaire show on TV. So yeah, I know that's to be true.
Yeah, exactly.
Those guys, those clowns in LA and stuff selling those $1 million properties.
But they discourage a lot of people because as many people as see it and go like, man, I want to do what they do. There's everybody else is like, I could never be as successful as Chip and Joanna. I mean, Chip and Joanna took a crap hole that's Waco, Texas, that was known for nothing but David Koresh and like the Baylor sex abuse scandal.
Yeah.
And now Waco's the envy of the country.
Right.
And it's like they just started fixing and flipping houses. Are they talented? Yes, but everybody's talented.
Yeah.
It's just we always judge, you know, that famous quote about judging fish by their ability to fly and birds by their ability to swim. We do that to ourselves, where we look at other people and what they're uniquely talented in and beat ourselves up because that's not our talent. When in reality, why don't we just focus on what our own talent is, become really, really good at that, and then we're going to be the envy of everybody else. Yeah. Not that that's what we do it for, but if I'm constantly looking at, you know, people who are talented in my weaknesses and beat myself up for it, I'll never get anywhere. So that's what I would tell myself 17 years ago when I got into this business.
Wow. Yeah, the Grant Cardone talks about that stuff in his book 10X as well, and he really kills it in there, just letting you know that, you know, don't compare yourself to other people, just do your best and make sure you're not spending any time thinking about them. Just think about winning for yourself. So,
yep. Exactly.
Well, one last question. What would you like to see your legacy be, Joe? I heard you saying you read some religious books, and you obviously do a great job there, and what you do, and well respected, and you get on this, you know, national stages and stuff, and have a growing business. But what would you like your legacy to be?
That's a great question.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor's a lot more philosophical than I am, and for our team, one of the things he's always said, which is great, is that you know, are we truly leading our people to become leaders themselves, or do we have like a servitude type of growth model? So it's like inside our own brokerage, are we helping? Like, do we hold people down and keep ourselves needful like an abusive husband does? Or do we truly teach our agents how to be leaders for themselves? And if they choose to stay, like a coming to truth moment for Taylor and I was becoming radically transparent with our agents, giving them every option in the world. Like, you can go 100%, you can do that. We'll support you. We'll do everything we can to help you. And then having the vast majority of our agents choose to stay on our team on split, under our umbrella. And that was like a cool moment of, wow, they're here because they want to be here and not because they don't have any other option. Mm-hmm. And so I guess legacy-wise, from Taylor and I on a business standpoint, it would be all about, if the people that have worked with us are able to look back and say, like, they truly helped me to be a better person. They helped me to have more financial success and self-reliance and things like that. I think that would be a good legacy for us to leave. And I haven't always been as comfortable with that, because when you teach and train and grow people to the point to where they're ready to step out, it's hard to not have a little bit of angst about that. Like, I made you who you are type thing. But in reality, like, happiness for us has become seeing people truly achieve success. And then the rad moments have come in realizing that they want their success to be continued with us from a position of strength and knowledge, as opposed to from a position of servitude and weakness. And so for us, I guess that would be hopefully our legacy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Joe, how can you guys ever come to Portland at all for any reason?
We came up there to watch UNLV play Portland State. Now I don't get up there that often, but if I do, I'll look you up for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we'll have you out for a conference or something like that, on a panel. But what can I do to help this audience get connected with you guys for referrals to send your way?
Yeah, I mean, obviously people can follow. I monitor our Facebook page myself, so people feel free to follow us there. If you ever need to reach me, you can message. It comes straight to me. My email address is joe@joetaylorgroup.com. You can follow me on Twitter or Instagram, but it's mostly my family, my faith, and my hockey team that you're going to hear about. So that's like, we're all in on the Golden Knights. And So that's not, I don't typically use my personal social channels as a coaching or mentoring type thing. It's just if I see something cool, I take a lot of pictures of my kids, and I, share a lot of quotes that mean a lot to me, and I talk about the Golden Knights. So email, feel free to reach out, and if you have any referrals coming down here, we're always happy to pay referral fees and take care of people's clients. So.
Awesome, yeah. I lived in Vegas for a short time, and it's great weather. We were just there, not too long ago, but it's a great place.
Sure.
For next time I'll stop and see you guys. But I really appreciate you guys doing this. Tell Taylor I said thanks again. I'll let you go,
okay.
Okay. But yeah, we'll post this and share it, and then we'll try to send some referrals your way, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Take care. So, guys, next week again we're going to have Ray Ellen on the show. He is a big player in the digital space. You just heard Joe say that he is not necessarily up to speed with his video channels and doing video for his social marketing and things like that, and that he needs to kind of up his game, and I know I do too. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Ray next week and having him join us. He is at just killing it. The stuff that he does with Home Sweet Arkansas, his little show there, it's very HGTV like. He also is doing a live broadcast show that's called The Bearded Men of Real Estate, where they talk about all kinds of stuff, not just necessarily real estate related things. So, but tune in. It's going to be next Thursday at 2 p.m. Again, I'm Brad Salyers. I'm with Waterstone Realty Group. This is the Rec Room and Real Estate Connect. And what we're doing with this group is we're just trying to bring massive value to the real estate agents in the Portland metro area from our connections of people that we've been making these connections with around the world to share with us how we can grow our businesses here. So we hope you find value in it. Please share this group with your friends. Just go into the group and click the invite button and just go through all the realtor friends that you know. It is a private group for real estate agents from Vancouver down to Eugene. So please share the group if you can do that. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Hope you got some great value out of it. And we'll post Joe's email in there if you guys want to send him some leads. And thanks again. We'll see you guys next week.